Hey guys, welcome back to the ProComps meta forecast. Today is going to be 25.14 with 20 different changes. One of them is going to be a rework, 6 of them are going to be item changes, so let's get right into it. Up towards the top lane, Kled is having a rework and is hitting this patch. The quick TDLR is all of his abilities are getting less AD ratios while getting tankier on his dismount. For the big part is actually his W passive, refunding 1.5 seconds of his W cooldown every time he hits a champion, or 0.5 on minions or monsters. He also has HP scaling, which is higher, and his ultimate will be transferred from AD damage to AP damage, but this is based a lot higher, so you're going to do a lot more damage overall. For the rest of the top lane, Darius is getting a buff for his Q missing health damage, while Fiora R healing per second is going up from 40% to 100%, which was meant to happen anyway, so it's just really a bug fix on her. For the nerfs, we're going to have Riven in the top lane getting an AD ratio decreased late game, while Sett's armor growth is down as well. But the big winners for this patch for me is going to be Fiora with a 52% win rate, Poppy with 52%, and Shen with 52. Kled changes, I want to let settle for a patch and then we'll give our major reviews on it. So far, landed about an A tier. For the jungle, there's one champion getting hit this patch and he can't even dodge it because he's blind. Lee Sin is getting decreased to his armor growth, only affecting in the late game. So from the S tier champions, it's going to be Pantheon and Jax and Jarvan. Everything's staying the same in the jungle. Same can't be said for the mid laners, as we're going to be having a few buffs and nerfs. Finally, Zoe, a champion which I despise, and for the last 2 months being in that S tier, is getting her Q damage and W decreased earlier, while another champion in the mid lane, Twisted Fate's Q damage is getting knocked down by 10, stopping that wave clearing from being so effective. Yasuo as well is getting hit on his AD growth from 3% to 2.5%, but with some buffs we'll talk about later, it won't matter as much as you truly think. For some other buffs in the mid lane, Azir is getting his base health increase and also his AP ratio increased throughout the game, while for Fizz, the W cooldown is decreased going to 3 seconds late game, and his AP ratio on his W is going up. And lastly, for mid lane, North American mid laner APA is going to be so happy with this patch, as Ziggs is going to get his AP ratios increased on his Q and E, and even his R is getting a damage increase at that level 16 ultimate. But with all these changes, Pantheon, Vladimir and Neferi are going to be our top 3 champions this patch. For the ADC roles, there are no changes this patch at all, so we're going to have Jinx, Tristana and Korkmore staying as our 3 S tiers. Remember, Yunara is coming out. We are having a short releasing later on that champion and maybe even a video. The ADCs may have gone scot-free, but these supports haven't, and I am so happy about it. The one champion everybody hates in SoloQ, it is going to be Yuumi getting a nerf and our R healing, AP percentage. Pretty much it's not changing a lot, but at least it's something for the support role. So for the rest of it, Sona, Elise and of course Leona are going to be our top 3 champions for this patch, and please Riot, just keep nerfing the cat. But with all the changes and everything we just talked about, which champions are the top 2 winners of this patch? For me personally, it has to be Jax and Pantheon. The main reason for this is the flexibility they have on what lanes they can play for. Pantheon can go support, mid lane, jungle and top lane, while Jax can go top, jungle, mid, and I even saw him in the AD carry role. The best roles for Jax is in the jungle and Pantheon is in the mid lane, and both of these are rocking a 53% win rate. So maybe pick it early into the game and flex it about some friends. Let's head over towards those items. We mentioned before about Yasuo not worrying about those nerfs, and that's because Blade of the Rune King is getting a buff this patch. Its current health on hit damage is getting increased by 1% for both melee and range, helping you deal with those bigger foes a little easier. While Kraken Slayer on hit damage amplifier is getting increased by 0.25%, and the price is coming down from 3,100 to 3,000. This means that Young Tao, the first item for everybody, may have some competition with it. Another buff is the Phantom Dancer getting more attack speed and movement speed, giving a big buff to champions like Ashe, who can really use it well. One other thing is Rod of Ages is getting 2 extra mana later into the game, giving more support to these scaling mages who are getting bullied out in this early game. For nerfs, Haunting Geist isn't stackable anymore, stopping some unique builds we have seen on Akali, and Unsealed Spellbook Smite is getting decreased by 300 on the 2nd and 3rd rank, stopping players like Polypath from taking the rune and smiting away those dragons and barons from, of course, the junglers. For our next segment is going to be the best duo champions for you and your friends to abuse in SoloQ to win more games. If you're top in jungle fans, make sure to play Sett and Volibear, as they're way better together, having a 56% win rate. The biggest issue both of these have is trying to stick to a target, but with them both helping themselves out, they can try and disable that tower and take them completely out of it. So if you pair them up, you're going to be winning some more games. And for something even more gross, for the mid and jungler, we've come up with the combo of Kayn and Kayle with a 53% win rate together. And the thing that makes this super strong is if you go red Kayn, you can go in, deal your damage, heal it back up, and if you're near to death, get Kayle to ult you, heal back up even more, and use your ultimate to stay more defensively sound. It is hard in the early game, but if you get to late game, there's no way you're losing these team fights. And now, for our dear e-girl couples in the bot lane, we have Sona Seraphine. This combo is broken. You can poke early and scale late. The amount of shielding and healing is just unmatched by any other bot lane. So please make sure to have one bruise on your team to help out, maybe even the Kayn and Kayle we talked about before, but this bot lane has a 54% win rate together. I'm not a man to recommend devil work, but this time, I might just. But now we know what champions you and your duo partner can do, what happens if you have a 5-man team that wants to play together? Well, we've got you sorted as well at ProComps. For our first composition, we're going to go for a pit comp. This is going to be Renekton, Viego, Ahri, Caitlyn and Karma. The big thing about this composition is trying to find people on the side lanes by using the RE3 dashes or having Caitlyn and Karma speed you up and hit from a long range. This is very useful if you have some very good side laners. Now, for our next composition, it is going to be a split pushing comp. I love composition like this, as if you have really good side laners like before, you could play for them even more. For this, Fiora, Vi, Akali, Sivir, and Renata are going to be the best matches. Sivir lets Renata roam around the map, and Vi can help set up Fiora and Akali for success in the early game. Just please make sure not to go for too many 5 versus 5 fights, try to look for those side lanes instead. But let's say side laning isn't your forte and you want more team fighting. We have you covered as well. We've got Rumble, Xingzao, Victor, Vas, and Leona as our combination for this week. The reason I love this combo so much is you can have Leona ultimate with Xingzao being in that front line, while Rumble and Victor place that ultimate down, dealing all the damage you ever need into these team fights. Just make sure that you clump up and work together, otherwise if you're on your own, it's not as effective. Next on the block is going to be the dive comp, and Bessa, J4, Galio, Tristana and Nautilus will be the champions for this, and it's very simple. You see a target, you go on top of them, have J4 ult in, combo it up with the Galio or even Tristana and Bessa. Just have a field day together. This is so much fun if your team is on the right page. And finally, for our last composition, it is going to be our poke comp, the team that wants to stay away and poke from afar. For this team, we got Sion, Ivan, Azir, Caitlyn, and Nico. This is a more untraditional poke comp, as it mostly comes down to your Nico, Caitlyn, and Azir to deal the damage. We have Ivan and Sion to make that space and keep themselves alive. So if you play for this composition, make sure to play for that Azir and that Caitlyn. If they get a lead, you're in a very good position. But that is going to do it for us here at ProComps. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if there was anything that you think we missed on this current patch or you want changed in the next one. But except for that, have a wonderful day and we'll see you in 2 weeks.